All right, let's talk about something incredibly serious: arc flash training. If you're an electrician, a maintenance pro, or really anyone who works near electrical gear, listen up. One tiny mistake can be the difference between going home and not. It can all happen in less than a second. So let's get into it.
So let's just start with a number that should really get your attention. 35,000 degrees Fahrenheit. An arc flash can hit that temperature in an instant. To give you some context, that is literally 4 times hotter than the surface of the sun. We're not talking about a little spark here. This is a catastrophic explosion of pure energy.
And this quote, it absolutely nails it. This isn't just a simple short circuit, this is an explosion. The air itself superheats and becomes a conductor, creating a violent, blinding blast of light, pressure, and heat. It's lightning in a box, and you do not want to be there when it gets out.
So in that split second, what are we really dealing with? Because let me tell you, it is way more than just a nasty burn. This is a full-blown, multi-layered explosion. Okay, so here's the official definition. Basically, it's what happens when electricity decides to take a shortcut through the air instead of following the wires. And what can cause it? Almost anything. A dropped wrench, a little bit of dust buildup, some corrosion, or just you getting a little too close to a live part.
And here's what a lot of people don't get. The heat is just the beginning. An arc flash also creates a supersonic blast wave with over 1,000 pounds of force, enough to throw you across a room or even collapse your lungs. It vaporizes copper and aluminum, turning them into molten metal shrapnel flying faster than a race car. The light is so intense it can cause permanent blindness, and you're breathing in toxic fumes from that vaporized metal. It's a truly brutal event. So you see all that? That's exactly why just being careful doesn't cut it, not even close. We're talking about training that isn't just a good idea, it is an absolute legal and moral requirement.
Now, who makes the rules? It can seem confusing, but it's actually pretty simple. You've got 2 main players here, OSHA and the NFPA. Think of OSHA as the law. They're the ones who say you must have electrical safety training, period. Then you have NFPA 70E. That's the playbook. It's the detailed how-to guide that shows you exactly how to work safely and stay compliant with OSHA's law.
So what is arc flash training when you boil it all down? It's the program that gives you the knowledge to see danger before it happens, to use your protective gear the right way, and to follow work practices that are designed to prevent one of these catastrophes from ever occurring in the first place. The training really hammers home 2 key ideas for keeping you safe: understanding your boundaries, so safe distances, and wearing the right armor, your personal protective equipment or PPE. Okay, first up, boundaries. You need to think of any piece of energized equipment as being surrounded by invisible force fields, right? There are 3 of them. The outer one is the arc flash boundary, which protects you from a burn. The 2 inner ones, the limited and restricted boundaries, are there to protect you from shock. Each one is a serious do not cross line. And here you can see how those layers of protection work together. It's all about distance. The closer you get to that live conductor, the more the danger just ramps up and the stricter the rules become. If you're not a qualified worker, you can't even cross that limited boundary without an escort. And getting inside that restricted boundary, that's only for qualified workers who have the right training, the right tools, and the right protection.
Now let's talk about that armor, your PPE. This stuff is rated based on how much heat it can take before you get a second-degree burn. The measurement is calories per square centimeter, but you can just think of it as a heat-stopping score. As you can see, the categories go way up, from 1 all the way to 4 for the most dangerous jobs. The rule is simple. The rating on your gear has to be higher than the potential energy of the hazard you're facing.
And here it is. This is what maximum protection looks like. Yeah, people call it a moon suit for a reason. This is a Category 4 suit, and it's your last, and I mean last, line of defense against the absolute worst-case scenario. When you see someone putting this on, you know the hazard is incredibly serious, and that gear is absolutely non-negotiable.
But look, all that armor, that's for when things have already gone terribly wrong. The real goal, the smart way to work, is to make sure an arc flash never, ever happens in the first place.
And your training is what gives you the playbook for prevention. It starts with learning to see trouble before it starts, spotting faulty wiring, corrosion, even just too much dust. It's about using the right insulated tools, following safe procedures, and crucially, using strict Lockout/Tagout protocols. And of course, keeping equipment maintained, so your circuit breakers and fuses actually do their job when you need them most. And really, all of this leads to one single golden rule. This is the heart of NFPA 70E. The number one goal is to create an electrically safe work condition. That means de-energize the equipment, turn it off, lock it out, test it to be sure. The only way to completely eliminate the hazard is to make sure the power is off before you start the work.
Okay, we've covered a lot. Let's boil it all down. I want you to think of this as your personal mission. This is about making sure you go home in one piece at the end of every single day.
So here's your middle checklist. First, know the enemy, a 35,000-degree explosion. Never get complacent. Second, respect those invisible lines. The boundaries are there to save your life. Third, gear up correctly. Always wear the right ARC-rated PPE for the job. And finally, understand that none of this works without proper, up-to-date training.
And speaking of training, this is not a one-and-done kind of deal. You can't just take a class once and figure you're good for life. NFPA 70E is crystal clear. You have to be retrained at least every 3 years. And even sooner if your job changes or you get new equipment.
So that brings us to the final, most important question, and it's one I want you to answer for yourself. Is your training up to date? Be honest. When was the last time you had a refresher? Are you absolutely positive you're prepared for the hazards you might face on the job tomorrow?
Arc Flash training can save your life. If this video helped you understand Arc Flash training, subscribe to HSE Study for more electrical safety training, OSHA guidance, and workplace safety knowledge. Like and share this video to help protect more workers.